High Observer Zixtal stood motionless before the massive viewing screen aboard the Council's stealth observation vessel. His four eyes blinked in sequence as he watched the unfolding scene with growing interest. The year was 2157, and humanity was about to face its first real test among the stars. Most fascinating, he whispered to himself, his scaled fingers tapping against the smooth surface of his datapad. They seemed to sense something is wrong, even without advanced detection systems. He was right. Down on Earth, the humans had indeed noticed something unusual. Their primitive radar systems had picked up strange readings in the outer reaches of their solar system. What they didn't know, yet, was that the aggressive Crixian Empire had finally found them. In the Earth Defense Force headquarters, Captain John Reynolds stared at the radar screens with growing concern. Something wasn't right. The objects they detected didn't move like normal space rocks or satellites. They moved with purpose. "Sir," said Laura Bennett, walking into the command center with a tablet in her hands. "The objects have changed course again. They're definitely not natural." Laura was the head of military strategy, and she had spent the last 5 years preparing Earth for possible space threats. Now it seemed those preparations would be tested. John nodded, his face serious. "How many ships do we have ready?" 25 fully armed space vessels, sir." "Not much, but they're all equipped with the new plasma shields." From his hidden ship, Zixtal watched the humans prepare. The Council had strict rules about not interfering with developing civilizations, so all he could do was observe and record. The Crixians, however, had no such rules. They were known for attacking younger species and stealing their resources. The first signs of the Crixian presence became clear when 3 of their scout ships dropped their cloaking devices. They were huge vessels, each one nearly twice the size of Earth's largest ships. Their dark purple hulls absorbed light, making them look like moving shadows against the stars. John Reynolds didn't hesitate. "Launch defense pattern Alpha. Get our ships up there now." Laura quickly entered commands into her console. "Sir, I have an idea. The Lagrange points. We can use them." "Explain," John said, leaning over her screen. "These attackers, they're big, probably not very maneuverable. If we position our ships near the Lagrange points, we can use the gravitational fields to our advantage. Quick turns, slingshot maneuvers. They won't expect it." In his observation post, Zixtal's antenna twitched with surprise. The humans were planning to use natural gravitational phenomena as tactical advantages, something even some Council species hadn't considered. The battle began suddenly. The Crixian ships launched their first attack, expecting an easy victory. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy that refused to fight according to normal space combat rules. Earth's smaller ships darted between the Lagrange points, using the natural gravitational wells to perform maneuvers that should have been impossible for their level of technology. When the Crixians fired their energy weapons, the human ships were already gone, swinging around in gravitational slingshots that made their movements unpredictable. "Pattern Beta 7, John shouted as reports came in. "Keep them guessing." Laura's strategy was working. The human ships, while less advanced, were running circles around the larger Crixian vessels. They used Earth's moon as cover, appearing and disappearing behind it, while landing hit after hit on the surprised enemy. One of the Crixian scouts took heavy damage, its purple hull now scarred with burning plasma marks. The humans had modified their weapons, combining traditional missiles with plasma warheads, another innovation that made Zixtal's antenna stand straight up in surprise. They adapted their primitive weapons, he recorded in his log. The humans took their basic technology and found ways to make it effective against advanced shielding. This level of adaptation should not be possible for their development stage. The battle continued for hours. The human ships worked in perfect coordination, protecting each other, drawing enemy fire, and striking at weak points they discovered through trial and error. When one human ship was damaged, 2 others would cover its retreat, never leaving anyone behind. The Crixians, used to quick victories over primitive species, found themselves frustrated and increasingly damaged. Their larger ships struggled to track the faster human vessels, and their advanced weapons often hit empty space where a human ship had been just seconds before. "Sir," Laura called out, excitement in her voice. "Their largest ship. Look at its movement pattern." John studied the screen. "It's limping. They're trying to hide it, but that last hit did something to their propulsion system. If we concentrate our fire there." John nodded. "All ships, focus on target Alpha. Pattern Delta, full spread." The human fleet moved as one, emerging from behind the moon in a formation that scattered when the Crixians fired, then reformed to launch a coordinated attack. Their combined weapons fire, aimed at the weak point Laura had spotted, overwhelmed the damaged scout ship's shields. The Crixian vessel exploded in a brilliant flash of purple and white. The other two scout ships, seeing their companion destroyed by what they had considered primitive prey, quickly retreated, vanishing into deep space. In the Earth Defense Force headquarters, cheers erupted. They had just won their first space battle, defending Earth against a clearly superior force. But John and Laura didn't join the celebration yet. They knew this was just the beginning. "Start analyzing all the combat data," John ordered. "I want to know everything about their weapons, their shields, their tactics. Next time they come, we need to be better prepared." Laura was already working on it. "Their ships have a vulnerability when they turn too quickly, and their weapons have a recharge pattern we might be able to exploit." "We'll be ready, sir." From his hidden position, Zixtel finished his report to the Council. "The humans have demonstrated remarkable tactical flexibility and innovation. Their use of natural phenomena in combat, their quick adaptation of existing technology, and their coordinated fleet movements suggest a species with significant military potential. Most concerning is their ability to identify and exploit enemy weaknesses within a single engagement. Recommendation: upgrade their threat assessment classification immediately." As he transmitted his report, Zixtel continued to watch the humans prepare for the next encounter. They were already modifying their ships based on what they had learned, improving their weapons, and developing new tactics. "They do not realize," he noted in his personal log, "that they have just attracted the attention of both the Crixian Empire and the Galactic Council. The coming years will determine if they are ready for the challenges ahead. Based on today's performance, I suspect they will surprise us all." Down on Earth, as the adrenaline of battle faded, John and Laura knew their real work was just beginning. Humanity had won its first space battle, but the war for their survival among the stars was just beginning. They had no way of knowing they were being watched, studied, and evaluated by beings far more advanced than their recent attackers. The only thing they knew for certain was that they weren't alone in the universe anymore, and they needed to be ready for whatever came next. 3 years had passed since humanity's first space battle. The year was 2160, and Earth had changed dramatically. The Crixian attack had pushed humans to improve their technology faster than ever before. Commander Samuel Carter stood at the window of the new space station Defender 1, watching his fleet practice maneuvers. The ships moved smoothly through space, much better than they had 3 years ago. Their hulls now gleamed with a special coating that helped protect against energy weapons. "The simulation is ready, Commander," Dr. Amanda Wright called from her station. She was in charge of developing new battle strategies, combining old military ideas with space fighting. Her desk was covered with books about ancient naval battles and modern space physics. Samuel nodded. "Show me what you've got." Amanda pressed some buttons, and a large screen lit up with her latest battle plan. "I studied how submarines used to hide under thermal layers in the ocean. I think we can do the same thing with solar radiation." From his hidden observation post, High Observer Zixtal watched with growing interest. In the 3 years since their first battle, the humans had built more ships, improved their weapons, and created new ways of fighting. His reports to the Galactic Council were getting longer and more detailed. "The humans continue to surprise us," he recorded in his log. They take ideas from their past and make them work in space. No other species has thought to use solar radiation fields as hiding spots for their ships. Back on the space station, Samuel studied Amanda's plan. She wanted to hide their ships in areas where the sun's radiation would mask their energy signatures. It was like hiding a warm object in front of a fire. The enemy sensors would have trouble finding them. "We can position our ships here, here, and here," Amanda explained, pointing to spots on the map. "When the enemy passes by, they won't see us until it's too late." "Like an ambush," Samuel said, nodding with approval. The ancient hunters on Earth used to hide near waterholes, waiting for their prey. The fleet spent weeks practicing the new tactics. They learned how to navigate through the dangerous radiation fields without damaging their ships. It wasn't easy, but human pilots were good at adapting to new challenges. Zixtal's antenna twitched as he watched their practice sessions. Most species would avoid such dangerous regions of space, he noted. The humans seek them out and learn to use them as weapons. Their ability to turn disadvantages into advantages is remarkable. The chance to test these new tactics came sooner than expected. The Crixians returned, this time with 5 ships instead of 3. They had learned from their last defeat and brought stronger vessels with better shields. Samuel was ready for them. "All ships, take your positions. Remember your training." The Crixian ships moved into the solar system, expecting to find human ships waiting for them. Instead, they found nothing. Their sensors showed empty space where Earth's defense fleet should have been. "Fascinating," Zixtal whispered as he watched. "The Crixians do not understand what is about to happen to them." When the alien ships passed near the radiation field, Samuel gave the order. "All ships, attack pattern Delta." Human vessels suddenly burst out of the radiation, their weapons already firing. They had positioned themselves perfectly, catching the Crixian ships from multiple directions at once. The enemy's shields flared as they tried to handle attacks from all sides. Amanda watched from the command center, taking notes on how her plan worked. "Their shields are strongest at the front," she observed, "but they're weaker on the sides where the radiation hit them, just like we predicted." The battle was fierce but quick. The human ships ducked in and out of the radiation fields, striking fast and then hiding again. The Crixians couldn't target what they couldn't see, and their advanced sensors were confused by the radiation. 2 Crixian ships exploded under the constant attacks. A third lost power and drifted helplessly in space. The remaining 2 tried to retreat, but the humans had learned from last time. Fast interceptor ships cut off their escape route, forcing them to either surrender or be destroyed. "This is Commander Carter to enemy vessels," Samuel broadcast. "Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded." For the first time in known history, Crixian ships surrendered to a younger species. The human engineers were excited. They would finally get to study advanced alien technology up close. In his observation post, Zixtal couldn't believe what he was seeing. "The humans have captured Crixian vessels intact," he reported urgently to the Council. "Their understanding of space warfare will advance significantly after they study these ships. The Council must decide soon whether to make contact." The captured Crixian ships were towed to a secure facility near Mars. Amanda and her team began studying them immediately. "Look at these engine designs," she said excitedly to Samuel. "We can learn so much from this." Samuel agreed, but he was also cautious. "The Crixians will be angry that we captured their ships. They'll come back stronger next time." "Then we'll be stronger too," Amanda said firmly. "Every time they attack us, we learn more. We get better." They don't understand that fighting humans means fighting an enemy that grows stronger with each battle. Over the next few months, human engineers studied every part of the Crixian ships. They learned about new metals, new ways to make shields, and engines that could travel faster than anything humans had built before. But they didn't just copy the alien technology. They looked for ways to improve it, to combine it with human ideas. When something didn't make sense to them, they tried to find better ways to do it. Zixtal watched all of this with growing amazement. The humans do not simply imitate, he recorded. They innovate. They question everything they learn and seek to improve upon it. This trait makes them uniquely dangerous. By the end of the year, Earth's fleet had changed again. The ships now carried a mix of human and reverse-engineered Crixian technology. They were faster, stronger, and more dangerous than ever before. Samuel stood with Amanda in front of their newest ship, admiring its sleek design. "Do you think we're ready for whatever comes next?" he asked. Amanda smiled confidently. The Crixians thought they were teaching us a lesson. Instead, they've been our teachers in ways they never intended. Next time they come, they'll find an enemy that has learned all their tricks and invented some new ones. In his hidden ship, Zixtol made his final report of the year to the Council. The humans have surpassed all expectations. They have not only survived the Crixian attacks, but have grown stronger because of them. Their rate of technological advancement is unprecedented. Most concerning is their ability to improve upon captured technology, rather than simply copying it. Recommendation: begin preparations for possible first contact. We may need to intervene before these humans become too powerful to control. As the year 2160 came to an end, humanity looked to the stars with new confidence. They had fought aliens and won. They had captured their ships and learned their secrets. But most importantly, they had shown the watching galaxy something incredible. On Earth, defeat was just another word for learning opportunity. The year was 2165, and Earth's biggest research facility on Mars was buzzing with excitement. Chief Engineer Catherine Martinez stood in front of a test chamber, watching as her newest invention powered up. The device she called the Quantum Burst Drive glowed with a soft blue light. "Power level stable," she reported, checking the readings on her tablet. "Ready for the test jump." Admiral Peter Morrison watched from behind protective glass. After years of studying Crixian technology, humans had finally created something entirely new, something the aliens had never seen before. From his observation post, High Observer Zixtol leaned forward with interest. The humans were about to test a device that, according to his scans, should be beyond their technological level. The test ship, a small unmanned vessel, floated in the chamber. Catherine pressed a button, and suddenly the ship vanished. A second later, it appeared on the other side of the room. It worked. Catherine shouted, her face lighting up with joy. The micro jump was perfect. Peter studied the data readings carefully. "How long until we can install these on our fleet?" 3 months, maybe less, Catherine replied. "The drive lets our ships make tiny jumps during battle. The Crixians won't know what hit them." Meanwhile, in another part of the facility, scientist Daniel Harris was making his own breakthrough. He had been studying the way Crixian ships hide themselves from sensors. Now, after years of work, he had found a way to spot them. "It's like looking for ripples in a pond," he explained to his team. "Their cloaking technology bends light around their ships, but if you know what to look for, you can see where the light bends wrong." High Observer Zixtol's antennae twitched rapidly as he updated his report to the Council. The humans have developed 2 significant technologies in rapid succession. The first allows precise, short-range jumps, a technique that even Council ships find challenging. The second can detect cloaked vessels. Their rate of advancement continues to exceed all predictions. The chance to test these new technologies came when a Crixian battle fleet entered the solar system. This time, they brought 15 ships, including their newest and most powerful vessels. "They think they're invisible," Daniel said, watching his new sensors track the cloaked Crixian ships. "They have no idea we can see them coming." Admiral Peter took command of the defense fleet from the new flagship Earth Dawn. "All ships, prepare for quantum burst maneuvers. Remember your training." The Crixians approached Earth confidently, their ships hidden behind their cloaking devices. They planned to appear suddenly and overwhelm Earth's defenses with their superior numbers. But when they dropped their cloaks, they found the human fleet was already waiting for them. Before they could react, the Earth ships started making short quantum jumps, appearing and disappearing around the Crixian vessels like a swarm of angry bees. "Target their shield generators," Peter ordered. "Use pattern Omega-3." The human ships jumped in perfect coordination. They would appear, fire their weapons, and vanish before the Crixians could shoot back. It was like fighting ghosts. Catherine watched the battle from Mars, monitoring how her quantum drives performed. "The jumps are working perfectly," she reported. "The Crixians can't target our ships fast enough." In his hidden ship, Zixtol was recording everything. "The humans have turned space combat into a form of dance," he noted. "Their ships move in ways that should be impossible, yet they make it look effortless." The Crixian fleet tried to retreat, but Daniel's detection system meant they couldn't hide anymore. When they activated their cloaking devices, the human ships could still see them clearly. "Don't let them escape," Peter commanded. "If they report back about our new technology, we lose our advantage." The battle lasted for hours. One by one, the Crixian ships were disabled or destroyed. The human quantum drives let them attack from any direction, jumping away from return fire before it could hit them. Finally, only the Crixian flagship remained. Its captain sent out a message. "What kind of demons are you? No primitive species should be able to fight like this." Peter responded calmly, "We're not demons. We're humans, and we're not primitive anymore." The Crixian ship surrendered, just like others had 5 years ago. But this time, Earth's victory was even more complete. They had beaten a much larger force without losing a single ship. After the battle, Catherine and Daniel received medals for their inventions. But they were already working on new ideas. Catherine wanted to make the quantum drives even better, while Daniel worked on improving his detection system. "The Crixians will try to copy our technology," Daniel said during a meeting. Catherine smiled. "Let them try. By the time they figure out how our current devices work, we'll have invented something even better." In his observation post, Zixtol sent an urgent message to the Galactic Council. "The situation has become critical. The humans are not just learning anymore. They are innovating beyond what we thought possible. Their quantum burst technology alone changes the nature of space combat. More concerning is their ability to detect cloaked ships, a feat that even most Council species cannot manage." Peter and his fleet spent the next few months practicing with their new technology. They developed tactics that would have been impossible before. Ships would jump in formation, appearing in one place only to vanish and reappear somewhere else seconds later. "Each jump must be precise," Peter told his pilots. "One small mistake at these speeds could be fatal." But the human pilots learned quickly. Soon they could make their ships dance through space, jumping between enemy weapons fire, appearing exactly where they needed to be at exactly the right moment. Catherine kept improving the quantum drive, making it more efficient and reliable. "The Crixians thought they could beat us with advanced technology," she said while working on an upgrade. "They didn't understand that humans don't just use technology. We make it better." Daniel's detection system was installed on all Earth ships and space stations. Now nothing could sneak up on Earth anymore. The Crixians' favorite trick of appearing suddenly from nowhere wouldn't work again. As the year drew to a close, Zixtol made his final report. "The humans have changed the balance of power in this sector of space. They possess technology that rivals some Council species, and their rate of improvement shows no signs of slowing. We must decide soon whether to make contact. If we wait much longer, they may surpass even our own capabilities." On Earth, people looked to the stars with pride and confidence. In just a few years, they had gone from fighting their first space battle to inventing new ways to travel through space. They had proven that humanity's greatest strength wasn't just learning from others. It was improving upon everything they learned. The Crixians had wanted to crush a primitive species. Instead, they had pushed humanity to reach heights that no one, not even the watching Galactic Council, had thought possible. And this was just the beginning. By the year 2170, humanity had grown confident in space warfare. But Colonel Elizabeth Taylor knew that confidence could be dangerous. She stood on the bridge of her ship, the Silent Hunter, preparing for a different kind of battle. All ships, dark mode, she ordered. Her small fleet of 5 ships turned off all non-essential systems, floating quietly in the shadow of Saturn's rings. They were hunting. High Observer Zixtal watched from his cloaked ship with growing interest. The humans were using the ice and rock of Saturn's rings to hide their ships, just as ancient sea captains once used islands to ambush their enemies. In the Special Operations Command Center on Mars, Richard Cooper studied the tactical displays. His job was to think of new ways to fight in space, combining Earth's old military wisdom with new space tactics. Colonel Taylor's fleet is in position, he reported to his team. Now we wait. They didn't have to wait long. A Crixian supply fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system. 6 large cargo ships protected by 4 warships. They thought they were safe, so far from Earth. Elizabeth smiled as she watched them approach. Just like clockwork, she whispered. The Crixians always used the same route, thinking it was safe. That was about to change. From his observation post, Zixtal's antennae twitched rapidly. The humans are using guerrilla warfare tactics in space, he recorded, a strategy that most species consider impossible in the void between planets. Elizabeth waited until the Crixian fleet was perfectly positioned. Then she gave the order. All ships, execute planned ghost strike. Her 5 ships burst from their hiding spots in Saturn's rings, their quantum drives letting them appear and disappear between the chunks of ice and rock. To the Crixians, it looked like dozens of ships were attacking them from all directions. They're confused, Richard noted, watching from Mars. They can't tell how many ships we really have. The Crixian fleet broke formation, trying to protect their cargo ships from attacks that seemed to come from everywhere. But that was exactly what Elizabeth wanted them to do. Spring the trap, she ordered. Suddenly, the ice chunks around the Crixian ships came alive. They weren't just ice. They were disguised human drones, each one carrying a small but powerful weapon. Elizabeth's team had planted them weeks ago, waiting for this moment. The humans have weaponized the very rings of Saturn, Zixtal reported urgently to the council. They turned nature itself into their ally. The battle was short but fierce. The Crixian ships found themselves caught in a web of fire from both the hidden drones and Elizabeth's jumping ships. 2 cargo ships were captured intact. The others retreated, leaving their precious cargo behind. Back at the Mars Command Center, Richard studied the battle recordings. Each time we fight them, we learn more, he told his team. But more importantly, we teach them that space isn't their playground anymore. Elizabeth's guerrilla tactics changed how humans fought in space. Instead of big fleets meeting in open battle, small groups of ships would strike from hiding places throughout the solar system. They turned asteroids into ambush spots, used gas giant storms as cover, and planted traps in seemingly empty space. Zixtal found himself updating the council more frequently than ever. The warrior species Varthak has expressed serious concern, he recorded. The humans fight like no other species we have encountered. They do not follow the normal rules of space warfare. Months passed, and the Crixians began to fear entering the solar system. Every time they sent ships, they lost them to enemies they couldn't see until it was too late. Human raids started pushing into nearby star systems, striking Crixian supply lines and outposts. Richard developed new tactics almost weekly. He studied how ancient tribes had defended their lands, how guerrilla fighters had overcome larger forces, and how predators in nature hunted their prey. Then he adapted these ideas for space warfare. The Crixians think space combat should be like classical naval battles, he explained during a strategy meeting. But we're teaching them that space is a jungle, and we are its hunters. Elizabeth's fleet grew famous among both humans and Crixians. Her ships would appear from nowhere, strike hard, and vanish before the enemy could respond. The Crixians started calling them ghost ships and would retreat as soon as they detected them. It's not about the size of your fleet, she told her crew. It's about making the enemy afraid to enter your territory. One day, Her sensors detected something unusual. A Crixian battleship, much larger than anything they had sent before, entered the solar system. But it wasn't acting aggressive. Instead, it was broadcasting a message on all frequencies. "People of Earth," the message said, "we wish to discuss terms of peace." In his hidden ship, Zixtal almost fell from his observation chair. Unprecedented, he reported to the Council. The Crixian Empire, which has dominated this sector for centuries, is requesting peace with a young species. Richard and Elizabeth met with other military leaders to discuss this development. "They're not surrendering because they can't fight anymore," Richard said. "They're surrendering because they're tired of being hunted." Elizabeth agreed. "We didn't just beat them with technology or numbers. We beat them by changing how space warfare works. We turned their playground into our hunting ground." The Galactic Council's observation team, led by Zixtal, watched as the Crixians began withdrawing from human space. His reports became more urgent with each passing day. "The humans have achieved something remarkable," he recorded. "They have not just survived against a superior force, they have forced that force to retreat. Their mix of guerrilla tactics, technological innovation, and strategic thinking has changed the balance of power in this sector of space." As the year drew to a close, humanity's position in space had changed dramatically. They were no longer just defending Earth. They had pushed one of the strongest alien empires out of their solar system and were starting to explore nearby stars. Richard looked at the star maps in his command center, now showing human patrol routes extending beyond the solar system. "We started this fight trying to survive," he said. "We ended it by teaching the galaxy a lesson: never underestimate humans." Elizabeth's fleet continued to guard the solar system, but now they were teaching their tactics to new crews. "The galaxy is a big place," she told her pilots, "and we need to be ready for whatever's out there." Zixtal made his final report of the year with a tone of both admiration and concern. "The humans have mastered space warfare in ways we never imagined possible. They do not simply fight in space, they have made space itself their weapon. The Council must decide soon how to approach this species. They are no longer just defending their world. They are reaching for the stars, and they have proven they know how to take what they want." On Earth, people looked at the stars differently now. They were no longer mysterious lights in the sky. They were destinations, possibilities, and perhaps new challenges. Humanity had learned to fight among the stars, and in doing so, had earned their place in the galaxy. The Crixians had come expecting to find easy prey. Instead, they had awakened a species that turned their own tactics against them, invented new ways to fight, and ultimately drove them away. Now the galaxy watched and waited to see what humanity would do next. The year was 2175, and Space Fleet Admiral Christopher Hayes was having a normal day until all the screens in Earth's Defense Command Center suddenly went dark. When they came back on, they showed something impossible. A massive ship, bigger than anything humans or Crixians had ever built, appearing just beyond the moon's orbit. "All stations, battle positions," Christopher ordered calmly, but before anyone could move, a message came through on all channels. "People of Earth," a strange voice said, "we are the Galactic Council. We come in peace. We have been watching you." In the command center, diplomatic officer Michelle Patterson stepped forward. She had trained for first contact situations, but she never expected it to happen like this. The massive council ship dropped its cloaking device completely, revealing its true size. It was beautiful, shaped like a silver leaf, with lights that seemed to flow along its hull like water. High Observer Zixtal stood on the bridge of the council ship, feeling nervous for the first time in many years. "Send the invitation," he ordered. On Earth, Christopher and Michelle received a request for a meeting aboard the council ship. "They say they've been watching us," Michelle said, reading the message. "They want to discuss our place in the galaxy." Christopher nodded slowly. "All these years fighting the Crixians, and we had an audience we didn't know about." When they arrived on the council ship, Christopher and Michelle found themselves in a room with creatures from many different species. Some had multiple arms, others had wings, and some didn't look like anything they had imagined. Zixtal stepped forward. "Welcome, humans. We have watched your species grow from your first space battle to becoming a force that even the Crixian Empire fears." Michelle studied the alien carefully. "You've been watching us all this time. Why didn't you help when the Crixians attacked?" "We needed to see how you would handle the challenge," another council member said. This one looked like a tall insect with crystal-like eyes. "Your species surprised us all." Christopher listened as the council explained how they governed the galaxy. They showed recordings of Earth's battles against the Crixians, taken from angles he had never seen before. "Your species adapted faster than any we have ever seen," Zixtal said. "You turned your weaknesses into strengths. You made the very nature of space work for you, and most importantly, you showed mercy to your defeated enemies." Back on Earth, people watched through linked broadcasts as the council ship maintained its position near the moon. Many wondered what this would mean for humanity's future. "We have come to offer Earth a position on the Galactic Council," Zixtal announced. "But first, we must discuss certain matters." The council members shared their concerns. Some worried that humans developed military technology too quickly. Others were impressed by human creativity and wanted to learn from it. "Your quantum burst drive," one council member said, "it's unlike anything we've seen. And your tactics in space combat have made even our military experts rethink their strategies." Michelle handled the diplomatic talks carefully. "Humans don't want to rule the galaxy," she explained. "We just want to explore it and protect our home. That's what concerns us," another council member said. "You went from fighting your first space battle to defeating a major empire in less than 20 years. What will you be capable of in another 20? Christopher stepped forward. "We fought because we had to. We improved because we needed to survive. But now we have a chance to be part of something bigger than just survival." The negotiations lasted for days. The council had many questions about human technology, human culture, and human plans for the future. Michelle answered honestly, knowing that trust would be important for their future relationship. Zixtal showed them more recordings of their battles with the Crixians. "We were most impressed by how you turned their attacks into learning opportunities. Each time they tried to defeat you, you grew stronger." "That's what humans do," Michelle explained. "We learn, we adapt, we improve, but we also know when to stop fighting and start talking." Finally, the council reached a decision. They would offer Earth a special position. Not a full council seat yet, but a chance to prove themselves worthy of one. "We want to learn from each other," Zixtal said. "Your species has shown that sometimes the youngest can teach the oldest new things." Christopher and Michelle returned to Earth with the agreement. Humanity would share its innovations with the Council, and in return, they would gain access to the Council's vast knowledge of the galaxy. "But remember," Zixtal warned before they left, "many species will watch Earth closely now. Some will fear you, others will admire you. How you handle this attention will determine your future in the galaxy." On Earth, people celebrated the news of joining the galactic community. Scientists were excited about learning new technologies. Military leaders were proud that their achievements had earned respect from ancient spacefaring races. "We proved ourselves by fighting," Christopher told his fleet. "Now we'll prove ourselves by making peace." Michelle spent the next few weeks setting up diplomatic relations with various alien species. Some were eager to learn from humans, while others were more cautious. "They call us the quick learners now," she told Christopher one day. "They say no species has ever gone from planetary defense to galactic politics so fast." In his new role as Earth's liaison to the Council, Zixtal made one final report. "The humans continue to surprise us. When offered power, they chose partnership. When given the chance to boast of their victories, they spoke of peace. Perhaps this is why they succeeded where others failed. They understand that true strength comes not from winning battles, but from knowing when to stop fighting." As the year 2175 came to an end, Humanity stood at the beginning of a new chapter. They had fought their way to the stars, earned the respect of ancient alien civilizations, and found their place in the galaxy. The Crixians had tried to crush a primitive species and instead created a new power in the galaxy. The Council had watched and learned that sometimes the youngest species could teach the oldest new tricks. And humanity. They looked to the stars now not as a battlefield, but as a frontier filled with new friends to meet, new things to learn, and new challenges to overcome. They had proven themselves in war. Now they would prove themselves in peace. "We're ready for whatever comes next," Christopher said, watching the Council ship glide silently through space. "After all, that's what humans do best. We adapt, we learn, and we grow stronger together."